How's everyone doing today? It's CJ Halleck with CJHalleck.com, and in this video, going along with the series of tutorials, we're going to decide what social media accounts that we're going to use. Now, this is going to be different for everybody. This is, there's not a one-size-fits-all answer, unless you just say all of them. But so we're going to be in Knowem.com, which is what we used in the first video. When we decided what the best domain and username and name for your business is going to be. So we went through, of course you can see we already registered our domain. Of course trademarks available, whatever. So be sure to check that video out as we go through this along with some other stuff. And so we're going to look through the most popular social networks right now, and we're going to basically see about creating let's see here. If you will, creating a list, and let me open this up, okay, of what social media sites you're going to use. Now, when you do this, I'm going to actually do a notepad. Okay, that'll be easier for me. So when you do this, you want to, multiple things you're going to want to know. One, are you going to, or you want to think about, one, are you going to actually put the work in to post on these platforms? Any way at all. If you don't have a plan on posting to these platforms, eventually at some point, you may not, you may be started out, you may not have, let's say Pinterest. You might not think that your business is going to be that you'll need to do a Pinterest account, or that you'll need to do a Twitter account because you're not going to tweet or whatever. But there's a few that I want to emphasize you really need those accounts. So we're going to go through this first section because this has most of the ones that you're going to use. And we're going to kind of go over it and decide for each one, would you use it? Should you use it, and what I'm going to do for the TBF Labs and what I do for CJHalleck.com. So we're going to start with Blogger, which is a free blog platform from Google. It's a good platform if you're blogging. Unfortunately, it's not good for SEO. It doesn't rank that well. And if you're going to be blogging, it's always best. If you're just starting out and doing blogging, it's always best to go ahead and make sure it's on your site and not on someone else's. And we're going to get into blogging and all that stuff later in the tutorial as we move forward with designing our website. And I'll show you how to create the custom blog page on your website and all that stuff. So I personally have a Blogger account. The only posts that happen to my Blogger profile is via a platform called If This Then That, where anytime I publish a blog on my site, it shares kind of like a snippet of it on my Blogger account for the few people that still follow me there. The next thing is Daily Motion. I have zero intent on using this or for TBF. I have an account for CJ Halleck, but I barely, it's probably been 10 years since I've used that account, or 8 years, something like that. Flickr, it's a photo app. Similar to Instagram, but it doesn't work with hashtags, and it basically is just like a portfolio of your photos that you upload. Once again, I use this, but it's 100% controlled with If This Then That via Instagram, so when I post to Instagram, it'll automatically post to Flickr. I don't use Issue. Of course, I don't use MySpace. I still have a profile on there, even though it is still, kind of trying to come back. Especially with the younger crowd, it's crazy because I've witnessed, I was over to a client's house, and his, I think she's 14, 15-year-old daughter had come in and asked him if he's ever, heard of MySpace. And he started laughing. He goes, no, nobody's been on that in years. And the look on her face was priceless because a light bulb went off. And I told my client after she had left the room, you can almost see the light bulb go off in her eyes where she's like, he's not there. I can go there and talk to my friends and he won't see it. So just heads up. Next thing is Reddit. Reddit is still very powerful. If you plan on doing a lot of content marketing, Reddit is a great platform to use. Same thing with Tumblr. It allows you a few extra little features. For TBF Labs, I will have a Twitter page. Vimeo is just like YouTube. It's another video platform. Totally up to you if you want to use Vimeo. I highly suggest that you use YouTube, BuzzFeed, Etsy, Imgur. I don't really get into those three. When it comes to LinkedIn, if you're business to business, you will want to have LinkedIn account set up and optimized. If you're doing it as a person, of course you want your profile. If you're having a page, for instance, let's say you sell office supplies and your main customer is going to be businesses, then you want to have a LinkedIn page. It works similar to Facebook. You'll have profiles and pages. So you'll definitely want that. Pinterest, in my opinion, is a must for everybody. You just have to kind of understand what's good, for everything. SlideShare, everybody technically has a SlideShare account. You may not have a profile yet, but it got purchased a few years ago by LinkedIn. So it's built into LinkedIn, so you can kind of, do that there. Twitch, it's a video game streaming app. Not really something that we'll be doing for business. Weebly, a single page, kind of like Blogger or WordPress. I probably won't do anything with Weebly, won't do anything with CNET. Of course, we're going to create a Facebook page, Instagram account, obviously. Won't use LiveJournal, and we'll end up using these two. So basically, what I'm going to do now is we're going to actually go through and list out what we're going to create. So I'm going to go through top to bottom. I'm going to start off with Tumblr. And I'm going to actually do this maybe. There we go. And I'm going to create a list in the order that I'm going to actually create these. So I'm going to do Tumblr. I'm going to do YouTube. Going down the list. And most of these I already have my personal account, so this is just for the business. So I won't be doing Pinterest. I'm not going to, I may do a separate board. If I do that, I'll go ahead and record that. But because this business isn't going to, it's kind of like, if you will, a holding company, so I won't have a marketing need for this as of right now. So I may or may not create that later on. But for right now, we'll just move down. We'll need Facebook is going to be number 1. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and actually, delay my last, WordPress will be the first one. And in this process, I'm going to actually do a little, let's do a bullet and do Grambler, or Gravatar. And we'll get into that moving forward into the tutorial on why you want this Gravatar when you set up your WordPress account, because it's very important when it comes to your website. So now basically I have it down for the major social media properties. And it's something I'm not sure if I did in the actual initial video training for this, but if you're going through and you're like, where's, and I can't think of any off the top of my head, but where's social site X or whatever, because you're thinking you want to be on a social site that's not listed here, you can come in up to the top and click on social networks right here in this tab, and it will actually take you to check all of the social networks. And I'm sure there's few that's not on here, but you can see, like, for blogging, here's everything that's for blogging. So you can go through if you really want it, like if you're planning on getting super motivated. And that's one thing I don't have on here, but I just noticed, and that is Medium. I use Medium a lot. I have 2 different accounts. I have one that's kind of like a test account where I'll test articles just to kind of see how they go. And I use that one all the time. It's under a pen name, and you're not getting that. But the other one, because the articles are never structured properly, and I do some crazy split tests with that to see as far as ranking and getting indexed by Medium and showing up, and SEO tests and stuff like that. But my main Medium account I post to about once a month. It's a good article platform where you can share your information, and it has a chance, you have a better chance of getting your articles noticed there on Medium than you do anywhere else as far as the standalone blog platform. So that's something I do use personally for branding purposes. And if you're doing stuff where you're, going to be having a content marketing strategy, you'll want to use Medium. Then we're going to come down to bookmarking. There's nothing here that I plan on using with the exception of Pinterest. A lot of people will say Bitly is very important because having the URL shortener is extremely helpful, but we are going to create our own URL shortener with our domain. And I'm going to show you how to do that in the web design tutorial moving forward with this series of trainings. So don't worry about that. And then business, you'll come through and see there's a lot in here. Like I said, you definitely want LinkedIn. Other than that, there's really nothing on this that I personally recommend unless you're something, if you're a painter or a contractor or something like that, Referral Key might be really good for you, something you might want to look into. And then moving forward with community, this is more of the forum-based type in general, where it's just a bunch of people on these sites doing different things. Eventful, something you may use if you plan on doing events, but for the most part, the only thing in here that I'll be signing up for this business is going to be the Facebook page. Then we go into design. Obviously, if you're a designer or something in that nature, you may want to go through all of these and use as many as possible. Entertainment, not really something that you're going to be using for business, in my opinion, unless your business is focused around entertainment. Health, this is something, if you're a trainer, and you can use all of these platforms, especially like All Recipes and things of that nature. So you can share your recipes for your diet plans and things of that nature if you're a trainer. And of course, information. There's a few things here you might want to look into, but for the most part, as I look through, the only thing you're actually going to be signing up for here is going to be Gravatar, and that's what we had underneath WordPress, and we'll get to that in a second. And I have to open that back up. I don't know what happened. Okay. Next thing is microblogging. That's going to be like Twitter. There's a bunch. There used to be a lot more of these. Jaiku, and there was a bunch of them. And I have most of these for CJ Halleck. But the only one I really use, and I use on a daily basis and have since probably 2007, 2008 maybe, is Twitter. So next is music. Once again, if you're not, aside from, and the only thing that's not showing here is Spotify. Depending on what your business is, just something that you can do to kind of give extra content. I run StayBoosted.com, which is a personal development site, and then I also have the Behind the Grind podcast that has the daily boost. Every single morning I put out a 3-minute, 10-second, something like that, podcast that just has like a thought of the day, just something to kind of get you pumped up each day. And so I've created a motivational playlist, and it does have some foul language because most of it, all of it is hip hop, in the one main playlist that I promote. And I link that from my website. It's not that I get anything from it. You can get followers on your playlist, but basically it's just a massive playlist. I think it's 300 something songs. It's all like kind of motivational, empowering type songs that I link from. But other than that, I don't use anything else in the music. News, Anchor, hands down. If you're building a personal brand or if you're wanting to do a lot of content marketing, Anchor is the platform I use for my podcasts. Hands down, the best platform for podcasts. I highly recommend that you sign up for Anchor if you plan on ever doing a podcast. Get your URL so you have the URL and the handle for this platform. Even if you don't think you're going to do it right now, I highly recommend signing up so it'll be like anchor.com/CJ Halleck. And And the great thing about this is there's no hosting for your podcasts. There's no limit to your podcasts. And it does all the hard work for you and submits it to all of the podcast platforms. So once you post on Anchor, your podcast can go out to Google Play, iTunes. Of course, it's on the Anchor app itself. I think there's 9 or 10 different platforms that it actually pushes to. Moving forward to photos, of course, we're going to have Instagram. Other than that, I'm not seeing, and then maybe Flickr, depending on what you're planning on doing, and then, on occasion, maybe Imager or something like that. But for now, I would recommend the only one for sure would be the Instagram. And of course, tech, unless you're in the tech space, you won't need none of these. But if you do plan on doing some training or anything like that, it's one of the things I'm working on. I think this training might also go on Skillshare. But it's just a cool training site. If you need to know something like how to do X and you can't find the right training on YouTube, I think Skillshare, if I remember correctly, it's like $15 to $20 a month. But it's got hundreds of different classes by people like myself who are just, open to share and teach people, to the bigger name people like Gary Vaynerchuk, and there's a few others. I can't remember who all it is, but there's some huge people doing trainings on Skillshare, so that's one you might want to look into. Next thing is travel. Unless you're a travel agent or something to that nature, you won't need any of these. And then last is video. And when it comes to video, like I said before, my main, and I don't even consider Periscope. I don't even know why it's on there. Technically, it's part of Twitter now. But the main thing is YouTube. You will always want to have a YouTube account, even if you do other types of content. And when we get to video marketing in this series, and get to signing up the YouTube account, I think it'll all be in one video. Still haven't decided how I'm doing it yet, but basically, you want to make sure you have that YouTube account because, one, YouTube is one of the highest ranking websites in general. If you're wanting to rank for something, you can use a single YouTube video and have a better chance at ranking than you do just about anything else. So that's a huge plus, and also that gives you the chance of grabbing customers from the web just from YouTube. So it's something you should really look into. So, but yeah, other than that, we've gone through, and there's nothing else I can think of that I need to add. So basically, these are the sites we're going to be setting up in this tutorial. Of course, there will be other videos that I'll do moving down the line, to basically, assist you guys, so there's not going to be a need for me to set up a new if this then that for this business, because I'm just registering the domains or not the domains, but the profiles to keep that domain or keep that username from someone stealing it. So I'm not really going to be active on these accounts. I'm basically creating this just for the tutorial, so I can show you guys every single step. But moving forward, I'll use my personal account on some of these other platforms so I can show you, how to use them and things of that nature. But that being said, that is how I go through when I'm sitting down with new businesses to actually decide what platforms they're going to use. You can go through here and just kind of get a good idea. I plan on blogging. I'm going to use, Medium. I'm going to do one post a month on Medium, or one post a week, or whatever. WordPress, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. So just come through, use these. Most of the time, you're not going to get past the most popular page. This will show most of what you need. So moving forward, we're going to go through step for step and start creating these accounts. So I will see you in the next video. If you like this video, please be sure to subscribe. On YouTube, be sure to not only subscribe, but you also want to hit that bell and get notifications. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. Thank you so much for your time. I hope everybody has an amazing day. Be great, stay boosted, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.